In this section, we'll cover writing the conclusion and the executive summary of your business report. Now, this is where we pull it all together. You've been working hard on your business plan. You have been considering your strategy, your competition, your resources, financial reports, and now you're going to pull it all together. And there's two purposes of this section here. One is the conclusion itself, and the other is the executive summary. So first, let's talk about the conclusion itself. So this is where you pull the plan together and you highlight each of the previous sections of your plan. So if you recall, going back over your plan, these are the major sections: your market demand prospects, your competition, your strategy, your resources, your financials and forecasts, and the risks, opportunities, and sensitivities. So this is really where you kind of give your parting shot, and this is where you need to really inject some passion into your business plan, right? Because some people are going to wade through the details, diligent people will, but if it's a casual reader, this is the kind of writing that's going to get them excited. And so this is where you can put a bit of your personality, of your passion, of your excitement for the project. You can put it here into into the way you summarize. And you want to present these in a positive fashion. So you've done your due diligence. You've talked about the risk of each section. But this isn't the point to be dour or to be overly concerned. You're trying to pitch this in a way that gets people excited and gets them to back your project. And so your conclusion needs to take a positive, upbeat approach, which is engaging and interesting and exciting. And so when one reads this, they say, yeah, this is a project I want to back. So you don't go over the top in this section per se, but this is the place where you can really shine and show your enthusiasm and the fact that this plan can succeed. If the folks back your project, they will be rewarded. Now, in terms of the format, you have a couple of options here. You can just use bullet points, and so therefore it's going to be kind of short, and you're going to take each of these sections here. Going back to your conclusion slide, you're going to take each of these sections here and turn them into a bullet point. And it'll just be a sentence, and you might just highlight the key term there, a sentence or two at the most. Or you can write a standard narrative section there as a paragraph with six subpoints, maybe somehow highlighted or numbered or bold that particular section. So it doesn't have to be long at all. This, in your paper might take a page, right? Maybe half a page. So that's the conclusion, and again, this goes at the end of the plan. Now, the executive summary, it's similar, but it's different in an important way. And so, as we mentioned previously, you're going to write this last because at this point now you've done all your research, you've done all your analysis, and so even though it's going to go at the beginning of the paper, you develop this at the end after you've done all these things, right? This is similar to the conclusion. It's similar to the section that you just wrote, but it's going to be more comprehensive. So instead of just a bullet point per section, you should have a couple of paragraphs per section. So what you want to do to write this part is to go back through each section of your business plan, take the highlights, right? The most salient points, and again, you're trying to convince them that this is a worthwhile investment and project to back. So you've done your due diligence within the body, but in your executive summary, you want to be sure to hit the highlights, the positive notes, the selling points, the selling features, and why this is a good project to back. And so because you're trying to make this more of a compelling read, and again, some folks might not read the whole report, or they may decide to read the report just based on the executive summary. So if the executive summary itself is compelling, then they'll continue to read. But if you put them to sleep and you don't convince them of the project's worthiness in the summary, they might not go farther. So look at the executive summary as a tease in a way, which gets them excited about reading the rest of the report. So you're going to summarize the report. You're going to give the highlights and the overview, but in a compelling and interesting way that makes them want to dig into the details. So there's a few points here that a good executive summary should have, and you can remember this by remembering 3 C's, right? Clear, concise, and compelling. So what does clear mean? It means you use simple language. You don't use a lot of jargon here. This isn't the place to over-pad it with your resource, with a ton of detailed statistical analysis. Some numbers are okay, but you don't want to bog the reader down with a lot of heavy-duty numbers. Maybe summaries of profits, summary of expenses, but it's going to be clear. It's also going to be concise, so that means it's not going to be too long. So maybe a couple of paragraphs per section. Again, you're an expert on this thing. You could probably write a page to summarize it, but you want to make it concise. And then compelling. What does that mean? That means that it's interesting, it's engaging, it makes the reader want to read this. Fashion is as if it's a story, right? And you're teasing them with the overview of the story that makes them want to read. Why should they want to investigate your report? Why should they want to read farther? Why should they want to, moreover, invest money and back your project? You have to give them a strong, compelling case. And again, this is where you can use some of your passion and your vision and your excitement for the project to convey the sense of enthusiasm you have, so that they kind of catch that even from the executive summary. So remember, you're trying to start a new plan here, a new project. You're trying to change the world, right? You're trying to change your little piece of the world. You've got a new product, you've got a new service, and you're excited about it. And this is your life's work, and this is what you're really banking on for your future, right? And so your executive summary should convey some of that passion and enthusiasm and excitement that you have, so that the readers get it, that they catch it. This is a good place to put that in there. Well, that completes this section. This was a brief section, but again, we're just summarizing and concluding. You've done most of the heavy lifting at this point. So this is a great place for you to pull it all together, to make it shine, so that you've got an interesting and exciting business plan that people will want to read and will want to support. Thanks for listening.